the city of the sun. You could have stayed, it's only over when the day is done. I never knew you was a runner, yeah. I mistook you for a son. It don't matter what we think when it's all over. 'Cause this is our last chance to leave it all behind. Raise your voice and raise your power, yeah. This is our last chance to leave it all behind. Raise your voice and raise your power, yeah.
Archie, is it fun?
Fun.
Fun.
After me. Ready? Happy?
Happy.
New?
New?
New.
Boom.
Was wrong to say I wouldn't change a thing, 'cause in the story of our lives, the best of times through color glass, time moves on enough to let me move on past, but every little now and then it creeps on back to shade my smile.
Hi all, this is video number 2, and this video I'll be sharing with you some court documents that I came across on Twitter. It seems like it's about a lawsuit that Meghan's lawyer is responding to. Keep in mind, please, I am no shape or form a legal expert. Nothing. None of that. My background is in architecture. I'm just sharing you those documents so you know what's going on. And occasionally I will do the same as I'm reading tweets, share my opinion, what I think and whatever. And as I'm reading some of these documents, I believe the lawyer is making reference to past lawsuits that had happened, and Meghan's lawyer is making reference to other lawsuits that had happened that's somewhat similar to Meghan's lawyer's argument. This is what I believe. So as I read some of them, I'm gonna skip. I'll probably mention some reference here, some numbers. They're long. It's a long number. Those document numbers are long. So I skip them and go to the either next paragraph or next sentence after those long numbers. Alright, so that's it. Again, keep in mind, whatever I say here, it's no shape or form of any form of legal advice or whatever, because I am not an expert in the legal aspect. Okay, so enjoy the video. Alright, so that's it with Boozy. So I haven't updated you on Boozy. So when I was seeing all of those tweets yesterday and they seemed very interesting, Boozy was tweeting and I took them out and then shared them with you. Now this is regarding Meghan. Okay, and this is my last one. It's a long one. It is a long one. Okay. Duchess Meghan's lawyer have responded. They are asking for the case to be dismissed, and they would like Samantha Markle to pay their legal fees for such a frivolous suit. Meghan Markle, Meghan and Harry again. Feel free to post, and no credit to me is required. Enjoy. Okay, so when was that? Let's see the date here. Okay, so that's a screenshot of the document that was submitted in court. Okay, 6/17. Okay, so that was filed yesterday. So that was recently. 1 of 27. Will I be able to read? That's a lot. That's a lot. Like I said, that's a lot. Okay, Meghan hung up the phone on her. I will too. It's time Meghan sued that stepsister. Okay, this is so laughable. Is this was F around and found out me? Okay, thank you for this. Thank you for this. I'm trying to understand. This is from Meghan's lawyer, right? The judge hasn't made a decision yet, right? I love that Samantha is either going to have to pay Meghan her money or declare bankruptcy. All right, so it's a long one. I don't know if I will get to all of them. Let's do. I read all of the comments already. All right, hopefully it's big. Make it big. Okay, it's readable. Okay. Case number 822 CV. Okay, let's read on this. Okay, Samantha Markle, plaintiff versus Meghan Markle, defendant. Okay. Okay, defendant motion to dismiss first amended complaint and incorporated memorandum of law pursuant to federal rules of civil procedure 12B6. Defendant Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan, sued as Meghan Markle, respectfully moved to dismiss plaintiff's first amended complaint. Okay, that's this here, and seek recovery of reasonable attorney's fee and costs under Florida Stat 768.295. I felt like I read something where Meghan wanted this to be dismissed, and then when I'm looking at the date it was filed, it was yesterday. So it was as recently as yesterday. Today is the 18th, right? Okay, for those who watch my videos every day, there was a tweet that I share with you that had something where Meghan asked to be for the thing to be dismissed, and then to get her lawyer fees and all of that. I felt like I read something like that before, but here looking at this file, okay, 6/17, which was Friday yesterday. Today is Saturday. Okay, 1. Introduction. This is a meritless defamation case. In March 2022, plaintiff filed her original complaint, identify 17 separate alleged defamatory statements. DK1. The complaint filed for numerous reasons, as Meghan explained in her motion to dismiss. DK15. Maybe that is two different things. Plaintiff seemingly agreed. She did not oppose the motion to dismiss and instead filed the FAC, which abandoned roughly half of her case. Okay, so I was right. So she filed something first, and then when Meghan respond back, so she probably removed that case. And then because Meghan, okay, this is my opinion here, based on what I'm thinking here. So after Meghan responded to her claim, and then like I said, many of her stuff that she was saying can be easily proven online. So once they point out to her what was that can be proven, she remove it, okay, and then file something else. This is what I'm thinking here, because hers can be proven so quickly, so she remove it, and then she's filing under something else. Okay, plaintiff also added irrelevant and spiteful allegations that are false and do not belong in a complaint, that is, that Meghan once, quote, hung up the phone on her, end quote. If I was Meghan, I will do. Okay, so it continues. There's the next tweet. The FAC now allege that only 10 statements were defamatory. See the summary and the appendix and for page 24 to 25. Plaintiff claim are based on two alleged publications. 1, a book by author Omid Scobie. Wow, they're really focusing on that Finding Freedom. Okay, a book by authors Omid Scobie and Caroline Doran, two authors known for reporting on Britain's royal family. okay, called Finding Freedom. See appendix statement. There's this, some areas, okay, and 2021 interview of Meghan and Prince Harry by Oprah Winfrey. Okay, there's this. Plaintiff did not just pour down her case, she deleted numerous specific factual allegations and exhibit from her original complaint. So I was right. So this is another case she filed. Oh my God. Oh, okay, complaint relevant to these two subjects. Not surprisingly, they completely undermine her entire case. Most obviously, her original complaint attached a 2018 email from Meghan to the then Communications Secretary of Kensington Palace, Jason Kenoff, that plaintiff alleged was the basis for the allegedly defamatory statement and Finding Freedom. If this goes forward, Kenoff gonna have to show up. That would be interesting. They mention his name here on this paper. However, the email on its face disproved plaintiff's claim that Meghan was somehow responsible for the author's allegedly defamatory statement and Finding Freedom. A second example, plaintiff omitted the transcript of Meghan's interview with Miss Winfrey attached to the original complaint, depriving the alleged defamatory statement of any context whatsoever. Clearly, plaintiff recognized that providing context for the statement made in the interview eviscerated her claim that the statement were defamatory. Simply put, the FAC pretend that the 2018 email never existed, that there is no transcript of Meghan's interview with Miss Winfrey in the record, and that various other previously alleged facts undermining her case can just disappear. Wow. But as is set out below, plaintiff cannot so easily walk away from her judicial admissions. If, for instance, she responds to that and remove it, at some point, I think Meghan needs to call her to court, file her own claim, and then said, leave me alone. Because if each time you put something, you call her to court, and then she prove your nonsense false, and you remove it, and then you file another one, what the hell? Nobody have time for this. At some point, Meghan have to call her to court and say, stop this shenanigan. Let's see here. In any event, even if the court were to ignore plaintiff's unexplained abandonment of her prior allegation, so I was right. I almost got confused with this, and I thought that was part of the first one. So it's two different thing here. So she removed the first one. Now the sister filed another one, and Meghan is responding to it again. So that's what I was a little bit confused at the beginning. Okay, the claims must all still fail for several reasons. Meghan did not write Finding Freedom. Omid Scobie and Caroline Durant did. No allegation to the contrary have been made out or could be made consistent with Fed or CP 11 to state the obvious. Meghan cannot be liable for statements she did not make. Like what? Why are they focusing so much on Finding Freedom? I'm curious. Even in the UK, when they regarding the how do you call this, the copyright case, they were really focusing on Finding Freedom. Why they still focusing on that? And then whoever, I don't know what the sister filed, what was the claim was, why will she blame Meghan for Finding Freedom? Because on that text message, I've shared that so many times, not the text message, the email where Meghan wanted to talk to Kenoff regarding maybe there was some question that Omid asked, and she wanted to discuss it. And we don't know what she did. Okay, at least for me, I do not know what Meghan discussed with Kenoff regarding Omid. Okay, maybe she just said, okay, on the email, which you guys have seen, I'll put that on the screen as I'm talking. And then once she met with Kenoff and said, look, when you talk to Omid, tell Omid I don't know anything about. It could be just that. And then she focused on the next thing she focused on with Kenoff was her mother's safety. Okay, that's the email that I'm talking about. Okay, there were two things that she raised: her mother's safety, okay, and then and Omid. So we don't know what the next meeting with Knopf was, what they the detail, okay, the details of how she was able to provide security for her mom, or the details of what she was talking about regarding Omid. I don't know, because I don't have that screenshot. If I did, I would have shared it with you. All right, so let's see here. Plaintiff allegation that Meghan made 3 purportedly defamatory statement in 2021 interview with Oprah Winfrey also fell, and did, in her desperation to save her case, plaintiff quite literally fabricated one of the statement as evidenced by the missing interview transcript. At bottom, plaintiff is asking a court to adjudicate whether plaintiff and Meghan had ever, quote, been close. And oh God, why they? Okay, in my humble opinion here, what I'm seeing here is someone is forcing her to do these things because they really want that thing to go to court so they could have juicy information to write about. That's what I think here. Okay, how many times the two quote cross path and quote as adult, and you're taking this nonsense to court? Are you freaking kidding me? Oh my God. And whether Meghan's feeling that she, quote, grew up as an only child, and, quote, Miss Dovia doesn't have another child. Miss Dovia was raising Meghan. So what is she talking about? Okay, as adults. And whether Meghan's feeling that she, quote, grew up as an only child, quote, true or false, we do not empanel juries to rule on whether two people are close or whether one genuinely feel that they grew up as only child. Court are not equipped to educate the legitimacy of a person's feeling. This is funny. This is funny. Okay. Courts are not equipped to educate the legitimacy of a person's feeling about their childhood and relationship, nor should there be. This dispute has no place in this court or any other. That's what I'm saying. Why is he bringing this, or she? Why is she bringing this to court? So the court should know exactly how Meghan feels or how her sister feels. Oh my God. This case should be dismissed and Meghan awarded her fees and costs pursuant to Florida Stat 768. Okay, 295. When I'm editing it, I'll look for what this thing is. Okay, factual and background. So this is the response. What I just read so far, this is the response to whatever she filed. Okay, I do not know. I haven't come across. That's what I was a little bit confused, whether this is something new or completely different. All right, so now this is what Meghan is doing here. Okay, factual and background. Okay, A, plaintiff original complaint. The original complaint alleged that in December 2018, authors Omid Scobie and Caroline Durant, quote, 2 authors known for reporting on Britain's royal family. Oh my goodness. All right, so I was here. Okay, were in the process of writing a then unnamed book, which is true, about Meghan, because in the email, because I will show you, it just said, Knopf, let's talk about Omid, something like that. Okay, we only have Omid. We do not have anything about Caroline Durant. Okay, the email says Omid. So what if Omid had written something else? Okay. So that's very interesting. Okay, we're in the process of writing then unnamed book about Meghan and her newlywed husband, Prince Harry. Plaintiff allege and Meghan denies that Scobie and Durant reached out to Meghan, including through Knopf.
Royal correspondent and ABC News contributor Omid Scobie says he's hoping his new book, Finding Freedom, will finally offer a true picture of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex.
The book seems to tell their story almost in their voices. Did they give their approval? Did they somehow weigh in?
I know there's a lot of speculation about the couple having sort of given secret interviews for the book and having weighed in, but it really couldn't be further from the truth.
Plaintiff asserted that Knopf agreed to speak to the authors on background and that Meghan sent him an email with, quote, some background reminders before he did. Okay, a supposed copy of that December 10, 2018 email was attached as Exhibit 1 to the complaint. Okay, I don't know if it's the same thing. I'll look if it's the same date, December 18, 2018. Plaintiff alleged that the email contained 7 supposedly defamatory statements. Okay, Scobie and Durant's book Finding Freedom was eventually published in August 2020. Plaintiff alleged that the book contained 7 purportedly, quote, false and defamatory, end quote, statement about her. Among many other problems, and let's not forget, many of Omid's claim on Finding Freedom. You know, I never finished with that book because I felt like many of the things that I was reading, I've seen them somewhere, so I stopped. I did say it's gonna take me 2 years. Oh my God. But anyway, it's a shame. But anyway, because I was doing a review of it, so that's why it took me too long. And then it was when I'm going camping and I'll read it and then do my review on it and then never touch it once I get home. So that's the thing here. Any chance that I get when I'm home, I'm making videos or edit whatever I've recorded while I was camping. But what happened is that Omid and Finding Freedom, many of the things that he put on Finding Freedom or things that the Daily Mail, Mail on Sunday, all the UK tabloid have written, and then he just regurgitates them, spit it right back out in the book. And this is why many of those people in the UK were upset at him, because he used their thing in a way where he makes so much money. Okay, that's the thing. And I think I have some some tweets, and I think I said those kind of thing. My coffee is getting cold. And okay, it's 3:12. By 5 o'clock I have to go take a shower and get ready to go. Okay, let's see it. Scobie and Durant books Finding Freedom was eventually published in August 2020. Plaintiff alleged that the book contained 7 purportedly, quote, false and defamatory, end quote, statement about her. Among many other problems, the statements were made by Scobie and Durant, not by Meghan. Indeed, virtually none of Scobie's and Durant's statements in the book had any nexus whatsoever to Meghan's December 2018 email. That is true. This is what I was saying. We only know through that email, if it's the same email that I'm talking about, the one that I have a copy of, which was submitted in the UK trial, is that Meghan wanted to talk to Knopf regarding her mother's safety and Omid's book. I think that's the way she framed it. Omid's book. I don't have it in front of me. Okay, but the details of the discussion with Knopf and Meghan regarding Omid, we have no idea. We have no idea. So that was privately. Okay, unrelated to the above, plaintiff also alleged that the 3 statements made by Meghan over the course of a 2-hour interview in 2021 by Oprah Winfrey were purportedly defamatory. Okay. Plaintiff second, or B, plaintiff First Amendment complaint. Meghan's timely filed a motion to dismiss the original complaint for failure to state a claim on May 13, 2022. Plaintiff did not and could not defend the original complaint. Instead, on June 3, 2022, plaintiff, having since replaced her counsel, filed the FAC. From my understanding, I may have shared that with you, where I said I came across a tweet that said her lawyer decided not to represent her. Okay, so that's that, I think. Okay, let's go to that one. Okay, among the way in which the two pleaded differ, the FAC dropped all claims based on the supposed December 10, 2018 email from Meghan to Knopf that plaintiff had alleged were the basis for Scobie and Durant's alleged defamatory statement and Finding Freedom. I would like to know what part in the book that she's talking about. Now I need to finish it to read where they claim Meghan says something on Finding Freedom. As set out in the original motion to dismiss, these claims were both time barred and not accountable for other reason. Okay. Not only the plaintiff deleted all reference to the email, it is not hard to see why virtually all of the supposedly defamatory statement and Finding Freedom could not possibly have been based on that email. Nonetheless, the FAC continued to base its claim on finding freedom without ever explaining how Meghan is responsible for statements made in a book written by two unrelated and independent professional authors known for reporting on Britain, that's in quote, known for reporting on Britain's royal family. The sole allegation on this point is ambiguous and conclusory. The false information contained in the book came from Meghan herself through her agent and communication secretary. The FAC also continues to rely on largely the same statement from Meghan's 2021 Oprah Winfrey interview as did the original complaint. That said, plaintiff omitted the transcript which had been attached to the original complaint. Again, it is obvious why the transcript showed that plaintiff is blatantly misrepresenting the statement Meghan actually made. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, plaintiff repackaged defamation. We claim still fail. Okay, early dismissal are particularly appropriate in defamation cases. A Rule 12b-6 motion tests the legal sufficiency of a complaint allegation. A complaint overcomes a Rule 12b-6 challenge only when it alleges sufficient fact to state a claim for relief that is plausible on its face. Okay, there's some section here. When on the basis of the dispositive issue of law, no construction of the factual allegation will support the cause of action. The complaint must be dismissed. Allege USAA CA, that's a different section. Pretrial dismissal is particularly appropriate in defamation cases because of the chilling effect these cases have on the First Amendment right. Cobb versus Miami Herald publication, that's another lawsuit file that they're making reference to. As explained by the 11th Circuit, quote, there is a powerful interest in ensuring that free speech is not undoubtedly by the necessity of defending against expensive yet groundless litigation. That's right, it's gonna be very expensive. Okay, New York Post holding, there's that, that's another lawsuit file that they're making reference to. The section B, none of the 10 allegedly defamatory statements are actionable. As noted above, plaintiffs rely on 10 supposed statements to allege defamation. To aid the court, those 10 purported statements have been listed in appendix to this brief at page 24 to 25 below, along with citation to the First amended complaint, short explanation for why they are non-actionable, and citation to the portion of this brief further explaining why. We now turn to those more fulsome explanation. Oh my goodness. Whew. Next one. As a matter of law, Meghan did not publish any of the statement in Finding Freedom. Under Florida law, a plaintiff in a defamation case, and by the way, even though she called, and you have to show her this woman your name and how much you cannot earn because of the defamation kind of thing, she will have to prove all of these. Okay, how Meghan defamed her. Okay, under Florida law, a plaintiff in a defamation case must allege and prove that 1, the defendant published a false statement, 2, about the plaintiff. And this was all the Johnny Depp thing, a defamation case. All right, the thing was published on that article, and then he had to prove that he lost money, which he Captain Jack Sparrow on that whatever that movie, and how he defamed him. He couldn't have any nobody was hiring him except with one, and so many things. So these are the things she's gonna have to prove. Okay, let's start all over. Under Florida law, a plaintiff in a defamation case must allege and prove that 1, the defendant published a false statement about the plaintiff, 3, to a third party, and 4, the falsity of the statement caused injury to the plaintiff. Yep. How did she lost money? Okay, bodily collide, that's another section of lawsuit that happened they're making reference to. With respect to the alleged defamatory statement in the book Finding Freedom, all claim based on those statements fell for the simple reason that Meghan did not make the statement and legal terms, plaintiff failed to establish the first element of a defamation claim. Yeah, the sister will have to prove how did Meghan publish this? The author is not Meghan. When you look at the bench, they will tell you, the bench, it will say author written by, Meghan Markle. What is it? Meghan Markle, Duchess of Sussex, or something like that, I think. Or just Meghan, I'm not sure. Okay, the requirement that the defendant publish a false statement. Okay, so she's gonna have to prove that. How did Meghan publish a false statement? And then remember, the court is not about how to prove how somebody felt. That I read a few minutes ago. How will you feel like you were raised as a single child? Okay, if Meghan was raised by her mother and her mother only have her as the child, so you're gonna have to prove who else was Miss Doria was raising. Okay, so that alone is Quote, because the publication of a statement is a necessary element in defamation action. That's right. Only one who publishes can be subject to this form of tort liability. Doe versus Ann Online, Inc. Okay, 783, that's another section, citing restatement second of tort. All right. Plaintiff cannot possibly allege that Meghan published the statement and finding freedom. There is no dispute that two unrelated authors wrote and published that book, not Meghan. Plaintiff argued and conclusory allegation that the false information contained in the book Finding Freedom came from Meghan herself through her agent and communication secretary. Does that change the analysis? Wow. Even if we endorse the fantasy that the false information in the book came from Meghan through an agent, the actual allegedly defamatory statement were made and let's see here, that's this one, published by the author. Indeed, the FAC itself repeatedly alleged that the book states or the book falsely state. Okay, there's all this here. Plaintiff does not and cannot allege that Meghan actually wrote the book or wrote the complaint or statement. Plaintiff does not and cannot allege that the statement and Finding Freedom were made by Meghan. That's the thing. She's gonna have to prove that. Repeated by Knopf and then published verbatim in the book. Plaintiff does not and cannot allege any statement at all by Meghan in Finding Freedom. Her failure to plead the substance of Meghan's alleged defamatory statement is the end of her claim. 5 for Entertainment, S.A. Rodriguez. Okay, so that's another lawsuit they're making reference to. With respect to the statement made by Baldury, plaintiff failed to allege when those statements were made and failed to include a sufficient description of the statement. Okay, dismissing slander claim against rapper where plaintiff offered no detail concerning the slanderous statement he alleged made about her and this song. Okay, relatedly, the allegation that supposedly, quote, false information originated with a third party that is not the actual publisher is not enough to support a defamation claim against that third party. Indeed, court-applied Florida law have repeatedly rejected such attempted and runs around the publication requirement. For example, in Johnson versus Dorrell, that's a different lawsuit, another case, plaintiff based a defamation claim on allegation that two sheriff deputies have made fabrication in a warrant application, which then resulted in the plaintiff's, quote, name and picture being posted on, okay, Alachua County most wanted list. Okay, at 964, the 11th Circuit held that this was not enough to state a defamation claim under Florida law against the two deputies and affirmed the district court dismissal under Rule 12b-6. The court held that to plead, quote, a valid claim for defamation under Florida law. Okay, the plaintiff needed to allege that the defendant themselves were responsible for publishing the allegedly defamation material. Here, the most wanted list. Okay, so I see what happened here. The deputy, okay, someone probably wrote it on the most wanted list, but they sued those deputies. Okay, not that something they did indirectly led to the publication of that material. Okay, similarly, in Kaplan versus Sadie Page, that's another lawsuit they're making reference to, an attorney named Larry Clayman asserted defamation claims against several defendants, including a blogger named Ken Avido, ID at let's this here. Clayman's claim was based on a news article for which Avido was a source, but not the author. Interesting. Okay, and particularly the article highlighted, quote, a couple of nuggets buried, end quote, an Ohio court ruling in Clayman's divorce proceeding, which is credited Avido for unearthing. Nonetheless, the court held that Avido could not be liable for the allegedly defamatory statement in the article, even though Avido had emailed a copy of his own blog post about the ruling to the author of the article, because Avido did not himself publish or author the article. That's very interesting. The same result apply here. Okay, there are no allegations, nor could there be, that Meghan had, quote, any control directly or indirectly over whether or not the author of Finding Freedom used the, quote, false information, end quote, she supposedly indirectly provided to them through yet another party. That is the Kensington Palace communication secretary. Okay, that's decent enough. There's another case they're making reference to, affirming summary judgment for the Miami police inspector who had forwarded the name of plaintiff to the office of the sheriff of Dade County, Florida, 3 months prior to the alleged libelous publication, but was, quote, not shown to have had any control over the use, if any, the sheriff's office made of this information, or any control directly or indirectly over whether or not the sheriff's office published anything concerning the same. In other words, there is no showing that Meghan herself was responsible for publishing the alleged defamatory material. There's this, another reference, that Meghan herself did not publish the allegedly false statement and had no control over their publication, means that any defamation claim based on a statement in the book by unrelated and independent author must fail. It is just that simple. Meghan did not make the statement. She is not liable for them. That makes sense. Okay. D. There is no overlap between the December 2018 email and Finding Freedom. Anyway, publication aside, for Meghan to be liable for Scobie and Durant's statement, plaintiff will have to establish that the allegedly defamatory statement are actually traceable to her, not just that it was, quote, reasonably foreseeable, end quote, some of the statement might be used by the author of Finding Freedom. Okay, there's some stuff here. Right, how many more? Oh my god. Okay, I'm over an hour. As noted above, plaintiff vaguely alleged that, quote, the false information contained in the book Finding Freedom came from Meghan herself through her agent and communication secretary. But the court need not stick its head in the sand and ignore the original complaint, very specific allegation about precisely where those statements came from, namely December 10, 2018 email from Meghan to the communication secretary Jason Kenoff. Those allegations are judicial admission binding on plaintiff. Best canvas pause. Okay, that's a whole bunch of thing reference to. Okay, that's probably a couple cases. Plaintiff is bound by allegation and original complaint and attachment thereto as judicial admission and cannot avoid dismissal of amended complaint by alleging facts contrary to original complaint and omitting attachment. So what it seems like, in my humble opinion, what I understand here, it seems like Meghan's lawyer is bringing back the old one that she dismisses. The sister had it removed and said, you can't dismiss all of this because she keep on calling me to court. That's the way that I see that. And said, you cannot just ignore that because she keeps on calling, bothering her her client, which is Meghan. In fact, the allegedly false statement in the book are not found in the December 10, 2018 email. Okay, so there's this here. A 2018 email did not say that plaintiff and Meghan's path had only crossed twice since they grew up. So that was the quote. So that was the quote they put here. Path had only crossed twice since they grew up. Okay, so this is the thing that we cannot, the court cannot judge on feelings. Oh my God. Let's continue. The 2018 email said nothing about plaintiff having only one picture of Meghan and whether plaintiff ever sold pictures. Okay, the 2018 email did not assert that plaintiff. So this is all her complaint on that particular lawsuit. So Meghan's lawyer is saying, okay, that email have nothing to do with this. If it's the same email, oh my God, I can't wait to open that email to see the date. Okay, if it's December 2018. If that, so they're saying here that email does not say any of this. Okay, in 2018, email did not assert that plaintiff, quote, reach out to the Sun or that she was paid, quote, handsomely, end quote, by it. All right. And third or fourth, I think this is the fourth one, the 2018 email did not mention Meghan's first wedding and thus necessarily said nothing of whether plaintiff had been invited to that wedding. Okay, the final one. And the 2018 email did not mention conversation with Meghan's father about plaintiff, but it was two text messages though. 2018 email did not mention conversation with Meghan's father about, but even the text message, it didn't say any conversation. The text message that I have is that Meghan was writing the father a letter, so which is the one I think they mail on Sunday, intersect, and then publish. So Meghan won on that. So the text message was making reference to the letter Meghan wrote to the father, but never go into detail, because I remember Meghan was saying how she was gonna send the email, the letter to the father, so that they'll intercept it. Okay, but they intercepted it anyway, and they the published portion of it, and Meghan sued for publishing private information, and she won. So that part, okay. So the reason I'm bringing that, Meghan never said exactly what was in the letter. So that's the copyright letter she won against Mel on Sunday. All right. So I don't know. It seems like somebody is pushing for this to go further. So whoever think there is something within those text messages and email, they are freaking delusional. So now there's Meghan's lawyer is debunking their nonsense, what they feel like there is against. And these things, Meghan did not want to put them public. It's because they took a portion of it in the copyright case to fit their narrative. And Meghan was like, if you want to know the context of it, they might as well release everything. And then it's to that they're making a big deal out of it, and still there is nothing. It's still proving Meghan's intention, which what they think is, it's not it at all. You understand what I mean? Because I read those text messages and I read the email, if it's the same email. Okay, December 2018. All right, let's continue. The original potential commonality between the 2018 email and the alleged defamatory statement in Finding Freedom is that Finding Freedom states that Meghan did not grow up with, okay, that's in quote, plaintiff, that Meghan, quote, barely saw, end quote, plaintiff, and that Meghan and plaintiff had, quote, never been close. Okay, but as explained immediately below, this statement cannot possibly be defamatory or provably false. They are non-actionable opinion and not defamatory to boot. In short, not only that plaintiff failed to allege that Meghan published the alleged defamatory statement in Finding Freedom, but plaintiff's judicial admission regarding what Meghan actually did allegedly right affirmatively disproved that Meghan made such statement. Various statements in Finding Freedom are opinion and substantial, true or not defamatory at all. It is axiomatic that, quote, opinion cannot be defamatory. Okay, Hoon versus Pratt. Okay, that's a different case. On top of the defect above several of the. Okay, let's continue. That's a lot. Okay, allegedly defamatory statement or opinion, namely that they did not grow up together, that Meghan barely saw her, and that the parties had never been close. These are textbook example of non-actionable opinion. Courts are not competent to adjudicate the truth or falsity of whether relationship or close, or whether two persons grew up together, or what qualify as barely seeing a person during childhood. This look like something that should go through a therapy, okay? Not a court, okay? A therapy should be sitting down and listen to her. There are no objective standards to measure this type of statement. I'm laughing because this is so freaking crazy. Plaintiff also take issue with finding freedom statement that Meghan and plaintiff path had crossed only twice since they grew up, giving the vagueness and determinacy of what crossing path mean in person by phone, email, texting, etc. Now, Meghan's lawyer is playing around with this. Yeah, crossing path mean in person, that's a question, by phone, question mark, email, question mark, texting, question mark, what else? Back in the days, how do they call it? Beeper. They forgot to mention that beeper. You know, when you beep somebody, I don't know, I don't think people know about this. Those people who born in the 2000, I don't think they know about beepers. This also qualifies as non-actionable opinion. Regardless, plaintiff does not actually allege the statement is false. Plaintiff assert that this statement is false because Meghan and plaintiff, quote, at one point lived together and have been in frequent contact, end quote. But the two only, quote, lived together, end quote, when Meghan was a child. Okay, so that's probably when Miss Doria and the father were still together. Okay, and the alleged defamatory statement referred to the number of times they crossed paths since they grew up. Okay, so that's the reference point, since they grew up. And after that, you know, if Miss Doria had custody of Meghan, so Miss Doria raised her as the only child. Okay, plaintiff does not and cannot deny that the two have only crossed paths twice since they grew up. Oh my God, since they grew up a bit. As to the statement that the two, quote, have been a frequent contact, end quote, there is no claim as to when they supposedly, quote, have been, end quote, in such contact, which they have never been. More to the point, being in, quote, frequent contact at one point does not mean you have quote crossed path more than twice since you grew up. Oh my God, I swear, I think the lawyer here was having fun with this and explaining this. In any event, plaintiff's original complaint conceded that she had not actually seen Meghan since her 2008 college graduation. Okay, as discussed above, plaintiff cannot ignore these judicial admissions. Thus, the facts on record clearly support that Meghan and plaintiff may only have, quote, crossed paths, end quote, twice since, quote, they grew up, end quote. Stated differently, the statement is, quote, substantially true. So they're saying here, we have a picture. I think one of them was graduating. I don't know. I think it was the sister, the half sister was graduating, and there's a picture of Meghan of that. So maybe since then, since they grew up as a child, let's say before Miss Doria and Mr. Marco divorced, since that time, so one of the time was that, the graduation, and then some other time. So which means Meghan was right. And if you take the context, when Meghan said it, was it the Oprah interview or was it in Finding Freedom? Okay. And I think Meghan said about. Okay. About can be maybe one time, two time, three time, anything around that number twice. Okay. Because when you're saying on top of your head, you're not surely know the exact time or the exact number of time. It could be once, or it could be twice, or it could be even 3 or 4 times. Any number around the number 2. That's close enough. 20 will be too much. Okay? 10 will be slightly too much. 8 could be slightly too much. 5 maybe. Okay? It's like rounding around. Okay? Maybe between 1 and 5 around the 2. Okay? I hope I make sense. All right, let's see here, because she was talking on top of her head. She couldn't count on, you know, how many times. So she said maybe around. Okay. Subsequently true, the gist or the thing of the statement is true, even if it's not perfectly accurate. That's what I'm saying. Even though it's not perfectly accurate. That's what I was thinking here. Okay? So Meghan just a random number. Alright? It could even be once. Maybe that one time that she took that picture with her. Or maybe it's 2 times. Maybe there was another time there's no picture of it. Or maybe it's 3 times. We don't have picture of that. Maybe a 4th time or 5th time. But not 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Because it will be slightly too much. Okay? Anything between 1 and 5, I will say. Alright? So perfectly accurate. That's what the lawyer is saying here. Finally, there is nothing defamatory about saying that the 2% are not close, barely saw each other, only crossed paths, all this are in quote, alright, or 2 occasions, etc. A statement is only, quote, defamatory if it tends to harm the reputation. That's the thing that I was saying. This is why I brought Johnny Depp case here, because it was a defamatory thing and it defamed him. He couldn't get job. People were seeing him as a wife beater, this kind of thing, so they didn't want to associate with him. He was losing job. He couldn't get gigs, this kind of thing. All right, so this is the thing here. Defamatory if it tends to harm the reputation of another as to lower him or her in estimation of community or deter third persons from associating or dealing with the defamed party. That's the thing. Okay? Alright, so they bring another case here as an example, saying that the 2 individuals are not close, barely saw each other, only crossed paths twice, and did not grow up together, does not come close to this standard. Okay, F, the claim based on the interview with Oprah interview also fail. Plaintiff alleged that 3 statements made in the 2021 interview of Meghan by Oprah Winfrey defame her. These are not Meghan's. Quote, stated that she was an only, okay, is continue, an only child who only met plaintiff handful of time, and 3, that plaintiff only changed her surname to Markle after the Duchess started dating Prince Harry so that Mrs. Markle could cash in on her newfound fame. Okay, that's this. We address each statement in turn. First, wow, they're really laying down everything. And then guess what? All this, Meghan could prove that she changed her name. Why? These things have to be done in public and government office for her to change her name. So all they have to do, how many times did she change her name and all of this? These are documented. Okay, first, plaintiff state about being an only child is another textbook example of opinion. That is true. The full statement from the transcript attached to plaintiff's original complaint occurs after Miss Winfrey asked Meghan about her relationship with plaintiff. Thank God Meghan didn't go into full detail of all of this. She kept that short. Okay, to whom Miss Winfrey referred as her half-sister on her father's side. There's the thing. This is the thing that I'm saying. After Miss Doria divorces, Mr. Markle, and if Miss Doria is raising Meghan, Miss Doria doesn't have other kids. Miss Doria only have Meghan. So Meghan was making reference to that of her mother. Her mother raised her as the only child. Okay, Meghan responded that she, quote, really did not know, end quote, plaintiff, quote, I don't feel comfortable talking about people that I really don't know, but I grew up as an only child, which everyone who grew up around me knows, and I wish I had siblings, end quote. Wow. Okay, in context, it is clear that Meghan was not saying that she was literally a, quote, only child, and that neither of her parents had other biological children. Rather, she was asked a question about her half-sister on her father's side. That's right. That's the thing here. And responded that she really did not know her. She did not deny her existence. Meghan then immediately explained that she grew up as an only child. Any person viewed this interview will understand that Meghan was expressing an opinion about her lack of a sibling relationship with her father's other biological children, such as the subject characterization of her own childhood and her relationship or lack thereof with plaintiff cannot support a defamation claim, meaning that even though she was growing up, they didn't come into her life. That's the thing Meghan was making reference to. Such inherently personal and individualized feeling that is how one feels toward their family members and how one characterizes. Well, then we see there's some tweet that I was seeing, even the grandmother from the father side, they weren't even involved. From tweets that I've come across, it was Meghan and Miss Doria who was taking care of the grandmother from the father side. I could be wrong from what I've read. I've shared these things with you. Okay, let's continue reading. Okay, one's own relationship with the father that separated from her mother and lived elsewhere from age 2. There it is, on or simply not falsifiable. They're saying here, yeah, since she was 2, I guess that's when they separated. Second, okay, I think I'm gonna make this 2 videos. Maybe the Buzi part will be by itself and this part by itself. Second, the alleged statement and the interview that Meghan only met plaintiff a handful of times is not even in the transcript of the interview attached to plaintiff's original complaint. In any event, any particularly without any context in terms of handful is too vague to be subject to objective measurement and falsifiable. Moreover, as noted above, it is substantially true that the two have only met a handful of times, particularly if the context was Meghan's own memories. That is true. Okay, from Meghan's perspective only. This is why the court cannot measure that. You cannot go in Meghan's head and find out how. You know, how many times Meghan met the other half siblings. After all, plaintiff moved out of the house when Meghan was 2 years old. Smith 31, okay, that's another legal thing here. And again, there is nothing defamatory about saying 2 persons have only met on a handful of occasions. Mario, there's another thing here. Third and finally, plaintiff alleged that Meghan said in the interview with Miss Winfrey that plaintiff only changed her surname to Markle after the Duchess started dating Prince Harry so that Mrs. Markle could cash in on her newfound fame. Okay, this is simply false. The italicized portion was never said. Okay, so they probably had to go back to the interview and listen to everything that was aired. What was said? Did she say that? Okay, this is simply false. The italicized portion was never said. According to the transcript that plaintiff herself has put in the record, this is entirely of what Meghan actually said on the subject during her interview. Quote, she changed her name. So this is what Meghan had said in the interview. Okay, quote, she changed her name back to Markle, and I think she's early 50s at the time. Okay, at the time. Okay, only when I started dating Harry, and so I think that says enough. So this left for the imagination. So anything else is left to the imagination. Meghan didn't say it. It's up to you to think about. Okay, the same thing if you look at me doing the review of Johnny Depp case, there was a part where Ms. Vasquez was asking the TMZ guy some question, and then she asked enough questions to leave, you know, for the jurors to fill in the blank. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing here. Meghan left that to fill in the blank. It's up to you what you fill in, but Meghan didn't say it. Okay, thus the FAC most incendiary alleged statement that Miss Markle tried to cash in on her newfound fame is a complete and utter fabrication. Ironically enough, the remainder of the statement that plaintiff, quote, only changed her surname to Markle after the Duchess started dating Prince Harry, end quote, is substantially true and therefore non-actionable. This is what I'm saying. She could back it up because these things were done. If she changed her name, she will have to go to government issues. And the other thing, let's go back. Oh, damn, I cannot highlight where I left here. The other thing is that Meghan could also prove that she cashed in, even if Meghan did say, because we could look at things that interviews that she did with different publication and other in other countries and stuff like that. Meghan could, well, that's if they want to show those information. if they want to show those information, because all of them are against Meghan. So it would be hard for Meghan to prove that. Let's continue. Okay, although plaintiff suing under the name Samantha M. Markle, end quote, she admitted that she has also gone by her two married name, Grant and Rasmussen. Okay, the fact is that when plaintiff first began interviews after Meghan started dating Prince Harry, she went by Grant. So these all can easily be proven. And as late as September 2016, just 2 months before Meghan's relationship was widely reported, and 12 years after her divorce, plaintiff, okay, who's 12 years after her divorce. Okay, so Meghan half-sisters divorced 12 years with, you know, I guess her kid's father. Okay, plaintiff was still going by the name Rasmussen, not Markle. Okay, so all this could be proving. Okay, so there's some section here. Let's go to the next one. Oh my god, there's more. Okay, Samantha Rasmussen versus Wenrock partner. Like I said, these things can still be proved because there's so many things that she could they could prove. So there was a lawsuit that happened here, and I think I shared that with you. It could be the one in, what's the other state, New Mexico or something. I think this is it. I'm not 100% sure. Okay, for plaintiff injurious falsehood claims is duplicative and insufficient pled. Okay, the FSC's other principal gambit is to scrap the original count 2 for defamation by implication in favor of a new count 2 for injurious falsehood. Okay, there's a section here. This obscures tort protects the economic interest of an injured party against pecuniary loss, in contrast to defamation, because in defamation you have to show proof, not only defame and how you lost money and things like that. All right, which protect the personal reputation of the injured party. Callaway Land and Cattle Company versus Banyan Lake. Okay, so that's another case they're making reference to, but it is no help to plaintiff. So it doesn't count here. For one thing, injurious falsehood still requires, among other things, quote, 1, a falsehood, 2, published or communicated to a third party, and quote, Botherham versus Harrington. That's another case. Florida law thus require as an essential element a specific and unfavorable falsity utterly by the defendant about the plaintiff, which, as noted above, is lacking here. For another, this claim is impermissibly duplicative of defamation claim, and regardless, plaintiff has not pleaded and cannot plead special damages as required to support this, quote, disfavored, and quote, claim. This claim too should be dismissed. A. The single action rule was plaintiff's second cause of action. Quote, in Florida, a single publication gave rise to a single cause of action. End quote. Callaway, that's another reference to another thing. The single publication, single action rule does, oh, there's more, not permit multiple action to be maintained when they arise from the same publication upon which a failed defamation claim is based. Okay, so she's saying the law, they're saying here, they cannot bring this back based on something that was already filed, which was false from the... Okay, I might even get confused explaining this. Let me move on. All right, so they make another reference to another case here, allowing plaintiff to amend their defamation claim, but dismissing counts for injurious falsehood because it relies on same event as defamation claim. Okay, claimant, for example, the plaintiff alleged that he had suffered emotional distress from the alleged defamatory statement. 22F, that's another case here, a section of something. The court threw out the standalone emotional distress claim, quote, under Florida's single action rule, end quote. The plaintiff is reason, quote, had not shown the existence of any independent fact distinct from the subject of his defamation claim, on which this additional claim. Rather, he relied, quote, on the same underlying fact and cause of action as the defamation cause of action to assert different damages from the same injury. A single online publication. Okay, there's that. Similarly, in Camus, the court dismissed the injurious falsehood claim because the plaintiff were not entitled to, quote, duplicate claims for libel, injury, falsehood, trade, and defamation where the basis for that claim is the same publication or event. There's another section here. The same result allow her plaintiff defamation claim is based on statement and finding freedom and the open interview, which the claim caused her to suffer, quote, injury to her occupation as a mental health counselor, end quote, and caused, quote, the sales for her autobiography to drastically decrease, end quote. Likewise, her, quote, injurious falsehood, end quote, claim is based on a supposedly, quote, false and okay, and I was here. Let's see here. Okay, there's another one. Oh my God, I'm almost 2 hours. Defamation statement and the book Finding Freedom, and further statement on the CBS Oprah Winfrey interview. And as with her defamation claim, plaintiff alleged she lost business as a mental health counselor and her autobiography sales tanked. Okay, because plaintiff injurious falsehood claim is based on the same underlying fact and intended to compensate for the same alleged harm. It is barred by a single action rule. B. So there come the money part. So they strike this out. You cannot say because of a statement that was said, which is pretty much is true. How can you lose money on something that is being said is true? All right. B. Plaintiff has failed to plead special damages. Okay. Redundancy align, quote, the amended complaint omits one crucial element of injurious falsehood. To state a claim, a plaintiff must specifically plead special damage. Okay, that's this. Some section. The special damage rule requires the plaintiff to establish pecuniary that has been realized or liquidate, as in the case of specific lost sales. Okay, that's this. Okay, of particular relevance here, the special damages pled must have been foreseeable and normal consequences of the alleged wrongful conduct, and the conduct must be substantial factor in bringing about the losses. There's a section here. Oh my God, there's another one. In federal court, a claim for special damages must also be pleaded with particularity. Federal Rule 9G could not be more clear. If an item of special damage is claimed, it must be specifically stated. See also, there's another section here. Here, however, the FAC, quote, does not reveal any realized loss that characteristic of special damage that is crucial element of cause of action. There's another section here. Instead, nebulous damages in the form of, quote, lost business, end quote, as a mental health counsel, and lost autobiography sales. That is not enough. See generally. Okay, there's another section. Plaintiff has not identified specific customers or transaction loss as a result of the alleged disparagement. Okay, there's this. Another section. Internal citation omitted. Okay, plaintiff has also not alleged fact demonstrating the difference in sale prior to the alleged libel and after it. All right, so there has to be a base. How was your sale before and how was it after? Okay, and also explain why she could not identify which particular customers withheld business. That's right. Okay, Johnny Depp was able to point that out. Okay, there's this 2018. There's all this reference. Emphasize added her reference to lost business and tank sales are no more persuasive than one to unnamed customer. Okay, Meghan is entitled. Okay, 5. Meghan is entitled to her attorney's fee and costs. Meghan is entitled to recover her attorney's fees and costs under Florida anti-SLAPP statute. Florida enact its anti-SLAPP law to spare defendant the great, okay, let's see this, they're almost done, expensive harassment and interruption of their duties, end quote, from lawsuit that seek to suppress the exercise of First Amendment rights. There's another section here. Continue. Okay, the longer such suit linger, the greater the expense and interruption of the lives of the targets, the greater the threat of financial liability, and the greater the chill on the exercise of constitutional right. Meghan is saying, you better dismiss that, and at the same time, you're gonna pay my lawyer. Okay, to that end, the statute prohibits the filing of a lawsuit that A, is without merit, and B, arises out of the defendant's exercise of the constitutional right of free speech in a connection with a public issue. Florida Stat, there's another section. Free speech in connection with a public issue, end quote, is defined broadly to include, quote, any written or oral statement that is protected under applicable law, end quote, and quote, made in or in connection with a play, movie, television program, radio broadcast, audio-visual work, book, magazine, article, musical work, news report, or other similar work. There's a section here. The prevailing party is entitled to, quote, reasonable attorney fees and costs incurred in the connection with the claim that an action was filed in violation of this section. It looks like they even going after the first files that she made, and she removed it. That's what I think here. Oh my God, there's another one. I thought this was going to be the last one. This lawsuit falls squarely within the ambit of Florida anti-SLAPP statute. First, because plaintiff failed to state a claim for the reason set out above. Her lawsuit is by definition without merit. There's a section here. Okay, affirming the complaint dismissal where she disputes statement, even if false, quote, was not actionable because it was not defamatory, end quote, and therefore the suit was filed, quote, without merit, end quote. Bongino 477, there's a section here. Because plaintiff's suit failed to state a claim for defamation, it was without merit under Florida statute. There's the section here. Second, plaintiff does not dispute that both finding freedom and the open interview relate to the public issue, end quote, namely the subject of a full chapter in a best-selling book and an interview viewed by approximately 50 million people worldwide. There's a section here. Nor could she, the statement and the open interview were made in, quote, television program, news report, or other similar work, end quote. Florida Stat, there's a section here. Okay, nothing Florida's anti-SLAPP statute covers, quote, any protected statement made in the news report, end quote. And plaintiff alleged completely frivolously that Meghan, quote, made written false, derogatory, and defamatory allegation in the form of best-selling book Finding Freedom. That is another section here. Quote, free speech in connection with a public issue include written statement made in connection with a book. Okay, under the anti-SLAPP law, award of reasonable attorney fees and costs and mandatory in these circumstances. There's a section here. Okay, please make this the last one. Oh my God, there's another one. There's some section here. Meghan is therefore entitled to an award of fee and costs, which, if granted, will be set forth in subsequent filing. 6. Conclusion. Plaintiff First Amendment complaint does not state a claim for defamation or amphibious falsehood and is directed toward constitutionally protected speech. The pleading should be dismissed, and Meghan awarded her attorney's fees and costs in connection with this motion. Okay, appendix. So these are some stuff that they you could freeze your screen and read it. Let me go to the next one. There's another one here. Freeze your screen and read them. 8. Local Rules 301 certification. Pursuant to Local Rule 301, Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, hereby certify that her counsel and plaintiff counsel met and conferred by telephone on June 14, 2022, but could not agree to resolve any part of this motion. So they did this over the phone. And there's some more thing here. You could freeze your screen and read it. Freeze your screen and read it. Alright, so this is it. Alright, so I read these at the beginning. Let's do a quick prayer, and let's do prayer for justice. And yeah, let's just do justice. Let's see here. Let not be afraid to defend the weak because of the anger of the strong, not afraid to defend the poor because of the anger of the rich. Show me where love and hope and faith are needed, and use me to bring them to those places. All right, let's pick usual picture. Let's pick this one. Okay, dear God, in our flesh we desire justice. We want people to reconcile for the wrong they have done, and we want them to learn from the hurt they have caused. And yet you give us grace when we deserve justice. You pardon us and forgive us of our trespasses. You give us mercy. I pray that we can extend that same gift of grace to others that we love, even if it means they never receive justice. Help our flesh understand and accept the power of grace. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, I need to stop. It's 4 o'clock. In a few minutes we need to get going. All right, I'll edit as much as I can until my husband get up. All right, so that's it. Please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share. If you want to support this channel, there's a PayPal link in the description. You could donate. Those who have donated, thank you. Let's see if this can. You could become a member. Someone just subscribe. You could become a member. You could watch the commercials. You could donate to PayPal. I need to look more into the PayPal thing. There was something that I saw a while back. I need to go back. So when I come back, there's some stuff I need to to record regarding Prince William. What else? LOLs. Maybe they're not that important, but some stuff that I started bookmarking, but until I come to the street that I just shared with you, and I felt like they were more important. So I might cut this video into 2, where the Bazaar part by itself and then the lawsuit by itself, because I'm close to 2 hours. The squad don't like 2-hour video. All right, so that's it. Thank you for watching.